you've used up your 1. Now, what... So the groups are... We're going to have Jay and Tobias and Virok and Focus?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty. So Jay will count that as one day towards you learning the loot, if you want.
Yep.
Okay, using your book.
You basically hear beautiful singing with the occasional bonk as he's trying to learn.
Yes. Now, I wonder how much this distracts Tobias.
Ooh.
Well, I obviously massively distracted. I've completely forgotten about what I'm actually supposed to be doing.
You're just getting involved in the learning process. You're like reading the book as well. No, I think it's supposed to be like this.
Are you backseat learning?
The term is meddling.
Oh.
Okay, Jay, I'm going to count it as... Jay, I'm going to make it count as half a day towards learning the loot because of the meddling.
Hooray!
But also, does Tobias get half a day worth of learning the loot?
Yes.
See, there you go. It's still some one day. And so my actual perception checks will be Hyperion.
Yes, okay.
What actually...
So, basically, you go from the tower, you hit the coast. Who goes east round the coast? Who goes west? Assume you kind of both head out, hit the coast, and then go in opposite directions.
Which direction is least marshy?
East.
I'm going east.
You mean you with the guy who's the thing that can fly, and therefore marshes is less of a problem?
I am not going in the marsh.
I thought you would go in the marsh because there might then be them light creatures that you got so attached to.
Yeah, there's an opportunity there.
No, but I've already seen them. They're being researched. It's done.
Oh, you're bored of them now, are you?
Yeah.
Gee,
Yep.
Poor thing.
I mean, they're completely harmless. They're no threat. to
Yeah,
anyone. It's just
completely
lights.
harmless.
So it's no longer a threat.
What was that?
That was what
Do we
happens
hear
when...
that as we walk through walk round the marsh?
If you ever see those light creatures again, then yes.
Oh dear.
They're getting buffed to shit.
That was a rare example of a failed GM dice roll.
I know.
4 times in a row.
I suppose me and Focus are going west then.
Yes, and the best part about going west is that after going west a while, you'll hit Dove High, and you can go have a drink.
I mean, we could do that.
Yes. You
But
don't have
we're
to.
on an important mission.
Oh yeah. Don't worry. Okay. Do what you want. But you will end. You will end that in Dove High, is what I am saying.
Okay.
Okay. So, heading east. Please make Hyperion's perception check. 13. Okay, and heading west. Please make the perception checks.
Does Hyperion not get advantage because he's flying up high?
That's a DC modifier, and I will resolve all of these once we've had all the rolls.
Mm-hmm. Focus.
Oh, sorry.
Brilliant. So you missed a perception roll.
That
Pretty
means I'm
much.
that means I'm going to hit a 20, though, doesn't it?
I was actually just telling him to focus.
Are you sure it's not a history check you want me to do?
Yeah, pretty sure.
Be the history of the area.
Oh, a mighty 14.
Look, it's better than what you normally roll.
Okay,
That is cool.
so Hyperion and Focus, so you head from the tower as a group with Jay learning his loot the whole way.
Bong.
You head to the nearest point of coast. You go by the shortest distance to get to the coast, and when you get there, both Focus and Hyperion notice that there's sort of a small cliff, and then it heads down, that goes down into the sea. And you kind of see off to the side at the closest point to the tower, there's steps, but it looks like natural like rocks and things like that in the landscape, but you both Hyperion and Focus notice that they've sort of been sculpted, like a little bit sanded, a little bit turned into better steps, you know, like a rock moved here and so on, to make large steps kind of heading down the cliff in like a bit where it's a bit more rocky and a bit less cliff-like.
Is there anything... You wouldn't see lights, would you? Because it wouldn't be... What time of day is this?
I assume you're heading out bright and early in the morning.
Yeah, pretty early on. I imagine.
But being teenagers for you, that's probably like midday.
11. Yeah.
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 Once the shine's
I mean-
worn off a little bit.
Yeah. And I've just gone west. I'm like, right, let's
Right.
find this ship.
Yeah,
And
we're
then-
splitting up from here. Meet you back here later. Let's go.
Yep, absolutely. Come on, Crumper.
And
Split away from focus as well.
I'm heading away from him, so unless he says something.
this is the point where the two groups split up. So Virok and Tobias are heading off and talking about the loot. But Hyperion does notice, and so does Focus.
I'll just follow Vera.
You're going to ignore the steps and follow Virok.
Yeah.
Okay.
Poor.
No, I'll shout after
How would you like this blatant, obvious plot point?
I'll shout after him and say, are we just ignoring this?
Ignoring what?
And I'll point to steps.
I mean,
Tobias and Jay, you can also hear this shout.
Yeah.
You've all been summoned.
Yeah.
I mean, look.
Kaka! Kaka!
They don't look obvious at all. I mean, I guess now that they've been pointed out, you can see that that's kind of steps. But that could totally be natural.
It's just, yeah. I mean, we could have a closer look. I'm not
think-
saying that you're right. I'm just saying we could. It might possibly be worth having a closer look.
I will have a closer look. I will dare another perception roll to see.
Well, we'll head down towards the steps.
Yeah,
Go
you can have
down them?
another. You can go down them, or you can have another perception roll before you go down them, if you wish.
Yeah, if it's like the steps then disintegrate into dust and I fall down the cliff, I want to double check that.
Maybe
Aha!
See
Uh,
if he remembers
They
how
are
to walk
steps.
downstairs.
So, looking at the steps, you can see that they kind of lead down the side of the cliff face in a fairly innocuous looking way. They're quite big steps, but there's no like railing or anything, and some of them are a bit uneven to help with the sort of natural look of them. And you see, as they get to the bottom, you can kind of see that where you should see like waves splashing up against cliffs, you don't see those splashes. So you can infer that there is a cave at the bottom.
Yeah.
Are these steps golem-sized?
Yes.
Mystery solved?
There we go, the mystery of the steps. I believe we should proceed down the steps.
Have you just got me on a leash or something? Like, so I know how to
mean-
keep following you while I'm trying to learn how to play the lute.
If that's what you want, I'll just, you know.
Well, I'm just conscious it sounds like I'm fairly engrossed in loot, so you might have to tell
You
us.
can put the
Okay.
book down to traverse the steps. Don't worry.
Thanks. There's a
Careful with
bounce
that
down
book.
the steps.
And then, yeah.
Loot goes flying.
I will
As you
mage hand the loot.
As you fling it into the ocean. You son of a bitch!
It slipped.
I should bray the shit out of Jay. I'm so hard on that.
She'll make you roll.
No, I'm not doing that. Yes, so Yeah, I'll head down the steps with Crumper.
Yeah. We head down to the cave of safety and loot.
Nothing could possibly go wrong.
You head down the steps, and indeed, as Focus has predicted, by carefully and cleverly watching the waves, you can see that at the bottom it opens up into, there's sort of a sharp right turn into a large cave. It looks like it was maybe originally a sort of small natural cave that has been majorly enhanced. There are like artificial lamps on the wall. Obviously they're artificial. There's like magical lights, the same as the ones you saw in the cave at the bottom of the tower, in the walls.
In like sconces.
Yes, in like sconces, and they illuminate a large. There's like a wooden deck around the outside of the cave, and then in the middle it's just sort of open to the sea. And you notice that even though presumably since the ship was built not that long ago, the stuff in here should be kind of new. The tools and such that are lying scattered about have clearly been weathered quite rapidly. Just by being left open to the elements. Yes, there is a half-built ship there.
Oh, excellent. So I take it that the main portion of the ship is there, but the extra bits haven't been added to it yet, or do we need to investigate that further?
So you can see, given that you had such a good examination of the blueprints, following them, you can see that they've kind of brought in a lot of the large pieces, like they've got the hull, they've attached a lot of the main bits, but yeah, all the detail is missing.
Yeah, and then I suppose in intrepid adventurous style, Varric will sort of rush up to the boat and then investigate it from there onwards, see if there's any way actually onto it.
Yeah, you can climb onto the boat. It seems stable.
I do double check, and I'm like, push my foot down on it, see how solid it is, and very much, and then sort of like go for it and just jump onto the boat itself.
Okay, so make a perception or investigation check as you examine the boat.
I will do a investigation. Yeah,
it's a half-built boat. I mean, all the main boaty things are there. It floats.
There's lots of rope.
Yeah, it's a boat.
Yeah.
'Tis a fine barn, but there's no boat.
Matches the one on your blueprints, so that's good.
And I go, I think this is the boat, guys.
Is there any office or any kind of like desk or anything like that which might have any kind of information, documents?
You can find it's very messy. It is not. There's not a designated office. It is just a cave and little more. It is the worst shipyard that any of you have seen. If any of you have seen any shipyards. But you can find... make a perception or investigation check.
I'll choose investigation for no particular reason.
Okay. You find copies of the blueprints, the same ones you found in the tower, but as you investigate them, you sort of have a flick through just to check that it all seems correct. You notice that there are two different versions of the blueprints.
Okay. What's the difference?
So it's small improvements, basically. It's where they've gone, we can save a bit here, we can streamline this, this should be like this instead. It's an iteration on a previous version.
So is it sort of like interpreting the madness of the previous ones into something a bit more legible?
So no, they are both clearly produced by Quartz Toil himself.
Right.
Okay. I'll pocket them to show to Virok.
Excellent. Anyone else want to do anything in particular?
No. I'll come down and have another look at these blueprints to see the differences. Basically, to have a look.
Yeah, so it's basically a version 1 and a version 2. The ones and your ones that you have match the version 2. So you kind of have the ones that you've been looking at, and you have a slightly more primitive version.
Right.
While you're here, I'll ask, did you find anything on board the ship? Is there any...
I was like, there's some rope. It's a boat.
There's some discarded tools scattered around.
Yeah.
Very messy.
I haven't gone below deck yet, though, so...
No maps, no charts, no
not that I could, not that I could see. See, get it?
Get back on the boat.
No, I'll get back on the boat. Yeah, that's fair.
Is it full? Is there anything in there? Suspicious hold?
We can go have a look.
You go have a look. The hold is empty.
Oh, good.
I'll have Tobias fly around the cave to see if there's anything else to be found.
Tobias or
Tobias?
Hyperion?
Tobias, I've got fly now apparently.
Oh, okay. Congratulations. Very happy for you.
Yeah.
But I don't want to use it just now for reasons.
So instead,
Hyperion.
yeah, you'll let Hyperion do
Yeah.
it. Okay. So flying around the cave, you can kind of it's not huge. There's nothing hidden in the ceilings and such that you can see. Give me a perception check, maybe.
For Hyperion.
Yes.
Because his is better than mine.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
So Hyperion, with a 21, Hyperion has a kind of, because familiars are separate entities, there's a moment of intuition, I guess. He looks, he spots that the tools on the deck of the half-built ship are kind of shiny and new. Whereas the ones that are lying scattered around the shipyard itself are pretty weathered and rusted.
Okay. I'll shouted that to Virok on the ship. To have a
I'm
look
like,
at
"Ooh."
the tools.
And immediately, rather than drawing any sort of thing there, goes, "Oh, shiny tools."
Oh.
Yeah, and he'll wander over to where Hyperion or Tobias mentions that they are.
Yeah, all the tools in here are pretty big. They, although they're quite nice tools, they're a little bit... They're like slightly weathered, as you would expect in this environment, but much less than the ones that have been left lying on the dock. But they're all quite big. They're not terribly useful for you unless you're, I don't know, building something really big.
I mean, potentially in the
Maybe.
future. But yeah, and I'll look through them and go, these are shipbuilding tools. There is some sort of rudimentary lathe here.
They're fairly common. Stick with your book.
Oh.
It's a
No lathe
tempting
for you.
lathe.
No lathe till you can loot.
Oh.
So yeah.
Is there like
much
an
newer
obvious captain's office or like that?
on the ship, yeah.
I was gonna see if there was like a manifest or captain's log or something like that.
Make a perception check.
Oh no.
Any sort of sign of life or anything like that. So who's on the ship now? Is it me, Focus, or me and Jay are on the boat? And Crumper.
Yeah, you could. Any of you may be on the boat if you wish.
Yeah.
A mighty 12, madam.
You don't see it. It looks empty. Given how early the ship is in production, it's basically just a large wooden room. There's no furniture or anything in there really.
It's a frame.
There's not like an obvious sort of
Clue.
No, this was
No, like I'm looking for a book or something like that, basically.
Like a journal or a log.
Yeah, like most. Obviously, I presume I'd be aware that most captains keep them, but it should stand out unless he's took it with him, I suppose.
In your travels, yeah.
Yeah, well, this ship hasn't been completed. It's not quite seaworthy yet, so it hasn't been anywhere.
Mm-hmm. But the important thing is there's no shipment here either.
No, there are no golems here. But it is worth noting that you have not encountered 30 golems so far either.
Even our poor perception rolls would have discovered that.
Yes.
Yes, they're very noticeable.
It all depends on when the previous communique was sent, and whether they had enough time to produce those golems.
Yes.
Someone give me another investigation check on the blueprints.
Okay. Boop. Nope.
Nope. Don't worry.
Nope.
So, the correspondence we had was that the boat was in progress, and we found the boat in progress. So they seem relatively up to date. That one certainly.
Mm-hmm.
So potentially they haven't left.
Yeah. But it does
because-
say the first batch of golems is nearly ready.
Yeah. Which would imply that they would need a boat.
Yeah.
To transport them, and that it's currently in progress.
Yeah. So,
So
how
maybe
many golems were on the roof?
There
Not
were
30.
no, not 30. I believe
3.
there weren't. No, there were more than 3 because there were ones that stood idle and got
Yeah.
possessed by quartz toil.
Yes.
But
was that not statues?
they were like statues. They were hollow.
Yeah.
In terms of functional golems, there were 3 on the roof, and there were definitely much fewer than 30 throughout the whole tower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the other
but-
question is, if the first batch of golems is nearly ready, where's that?
Yeah.
Are there any like obvious tracks or signs? Like, surely if there's 30 golems that march through this place, they're gonna leave a mark.
Give me a perception check. Oh, okay. So it looks as though golems were the ones working on the ship, building it, and so the place is very busy with golem activity. Really busy. Like, golems were working here a long time, and they don't appear to have assembled much for the amount of wear and tear that there is on the floor, and like I guess the walls, the place in general.
Mm-hmm.
It seems
What
like
if-
they've been here too long.
There were 2 boats.
Mm.
Entirely possible.
Is there signs of anywhere else, like another berth or somewhere?
There are no signs of another boat here. There appears to be only space to make one at once.
Right, okay. Right.
But that doesn't mean that you're wrong.
We could go to Dovehigh. It's a coastal settlement,
Mm-hmm.
so they have ships coming in and out. We could
Mhm.
ask
Steal a
them if
boat.
they'd seen. Maybe we could ask them if they have seen a boat matching this description that we have, and
I
where it
mean,
was
because
heading.
again, like you say, because the crew would have had to have been mortals, not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Would have had to be not golems.
Yes.
So
Why?
Because that's what the GM said.
But it doesn't mean they have to be. They could still have been creations of some sort, just not as big as a golem, surely.
Well, they could be creations, but they would be. There's like space for hammocks and things.
Yeah.
Ah, right. So there's evidence that the normal people, so
Yeah.
to speak,
Oh,
that they sleep.
the anti-golem.
Yes. You didn't get punched to almost death by a golem.
No, I didn't. I stood well back,
You didn't
except
enchant
for
my
one,
daggers.
like one brief moment when I did not stand well back.
And to be fair, he wasn't punched by it. He ate electric death.
Who?
Oh no, that was a statue that did that.
Oh, okay.
Who ate electric death?
Me? I
Tobias?
nobly leapt in front of a bolt of lightning heading right at you.
I mean, he did do that. He got
I
in the
saved
way.
your life.
I might have to listen back.
You
That
don't
doesn't
necessarily
sound
need to
right.
listen back. Just read the
Yeah,
read
there's,
the historical notes.
the historical documents.
Is that being released yet?
No,
No.
we're still waiting on you to do a recording of it.
Oh,
Mr.
the
J.
audible
Goldbeard. Yeah.
book.
Yeah, we need a dramatic reading of the historical documents of this adventure.
Absolutely.
Fine. I'll
So
put
everyone
on my
can get the
best
true story.
book reading voice.
But what I'm saying is that
Gilbert Gottfried.
yeah, it's relatively. There's not a lot of information to be had here.
No.
But we do have a description of the boat, and it might have been seen
Hmm.
by sailors in Dovehigh.
Yeah, and like you say, if there was anyone looking for a crew, Dovehigh
Yes.
would have been the easiest place to get.
Because it's not far away.
Hmm.
So I believe that is our next area of investigation.
Well, there's still time in the day to do that, so let's go to Dovehigh.
Go on, Jay. This is your thing.
Okay, so
Go on. Yeah. What? It's when the
Am I
mayor
not reading
goes,
my
"You
book?"
again?" What?
sorry, I was eating garlic bread. That was the reason for the pause. I had myself muted. Okay. So let's put you on the map and everything for
Oh no.
Dovehigh. Not for like a weird reason, just because
Oh,
it's just nice to have the map.
Hey, look, it's that dead
Yeah.
guy you killed.
I like having maps to look at. Oh yeah, that is the dead guy. So
That's
yeah,
his brain.
I actually melted his brain.
lucky Oswin. Okay, so you make it into town. No drama. And yeah, you are in Dovehigh. It's late afternoon. There's a gentle breeze coming off the sea. It's not really refreshing. It's kind of cold. It's a cold continent.
I don't
No
mind
one's
it.
quite used to it because it's slowly getting colder.
Ah,
And everyone's
pretty good,
aware of that.
I don't mind.
Yeah, it's not
I mean,
too bad.
I'm aware of it, but you know, it doesn't bother me as much as everyone else.
Ah, it's very tough.
Can I have mage armor help insulate me so it's not cold?
Yes. You
Then I
can
will be
cast.
casting-
You can cast mage armor. It won't help,
Oh,
but you can cast it anyway.
it makes me feel tingly. So
I would like to change my like persona because I don't want the guards to recognize us.
You
from
did
last
get
time.
arrested last time.
Yes. So
Numerous
if I
times.
could- If I could just maybe, change it up a bit.
Yep, you
Different
were
style of
you were
hair.
Wenzel before. Who are you now?
Denzel.
No, I am Farrison Horde.
Oh my god.
Excellent. Welcome to Dovhai.
Indeed.
Brand new person.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you may do this. Do you have a particular disguise ability, or is it a spell, or is it disguise self?
I have a very good deception. Is probably the main way I would do it. I don't have a spell for it.
Have you got a disguise kit?
A disguise kit is something you can have proficiency with and make checks on.
Yeah.
probably don't have proficiency with it though.
You can still use it if you have it.
Well, it's more because he didn't have proficiency in loot, being a bard.
Yeah, the Wenzel thing I always figured was like it's stage persona versus non-stage persona. That's like it's very easy to seem like a different person if one person's like the stage person.
Yeah.
I have a dulcimer. No, that won't do it.
That one, that's not it. That's another instrument that you're proficient in.
That's right.
He's not proficient in it.
He just has it,
I am.
much like his
He just
lute.
has it.
Oh yeah, that's right. No,
On the
I
theme
don't
here.
have a disguise kit.
Okay, so
I
what
just
we can
I just like to think that over the years, with my acting skills, and
yeah,
whatnot,
we can use deception or performance as a kind of like you're not disguising yourself physically, but you're changing the way you walk, you're changing your posture, you're changing maybe an accent.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah.
What's Farrison's accent?
No, sorry, thank you. I'm not doing accents.
That's allowed. So make a
That is the dangerous territory to get into.
a performance or deception check to just cover the whole trip.